Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Mo Mondays. In this week's episode, I am going to show you some of the new features that have just landed on the Pro Management Portal. So if you are rocking the Pro license for your Microsoft Teams Rooms devices and you have access to the Pro Management Portal, you'll see a few additional features which are really useful, especially when you are trying to diagnose any issues or anything along those lines for any of your devices. So in order for you to get into the Pro Management Portal, that's the link down below. As always, portal.rooms.microsoft.com. Of course, you do need to make sure that you are a administrator or you have access to the portal. And as soon as you log in, this is the site that you will be given. Now, let me just go ahead and make that a little bigger so everyone can see what we're doing across here. There we go. So as always, when you do head over to the Pro Management Portal, the first page will give you all the latest information. There have been a bunch of kind of smaller updates and things that have come across on the Pro Management Portal. For example, November 29th, search and filters for rooms have been added. They added Teams panels in Pro Management as well, which is great. Some insight surveys, etc., some bookable desk surveys, those sort of smaller items were added on earlier this month. But the biggest ones, and actually this one across here. So Wednesday, November 29th, there's some new actions made available to manage those Teams Rooms devices on the Windows platform. Remember, as I mentioned in earlier episodes, when you are using Windows being more modular with kind of more points because of the OS, there's a lot more you can generally do with Windows devices than you can with Android. Android is still kind of playing catch up, but with Windows, it's really easy to implement. So for example, what Microsoft has done is they've enabled things like crash dumps. So if you are experiencing issues on your Teams Rooms device, and a lot of times it's just kind of the way luck goes, right? When you try and reproduce an issue, it never seems to happen. Everything just seems to work. But this way, when you enable a crash dump, it will effectively run logs over a 24-hour period. So that way you can get to see exactly what the machine's doing. Is it rebooting on time? Is it updating? Is it, connecting? Is it pinging? What is it doing? So it's a really good way of doing it. So let me show you how you can get that and how easy it is to do. So on the left-hand side of your page, you'll notice we've got the rooms icon. So you go ahead and you just hit the rooms icon. Now you can see across here all the devices that are currently connected to my tenant. There's 15 managed devices, 12 of them are healthy, 2 are unhealthy. I blame Vincent for that. It's always his devices. And one that's unmonitored, obviously for test purposes. We haven't enrolled that one into there already. So I'm going to head over down to my machine. So my machine is the one right down here, which is Mo Khalifa's MTR on Windows. And what you can see across here straight away is is there any active tickets? No, there isn't, which is great. No real issues. One security issue, and it's just because I've got some default credentials in there. It's a test machine, so we do that. But make sure you change yours, of course, if it's in a production environment. Okay, so the update. What can you do with the update? It's really easy now. Now you'll notice we actually have a new tab just across the top here, which is actions. So you go ahead and you hit the actions button. Now on the actions button, it will effectively send a command over to your Teams Rooms device and it will run that command for you. So you can only effectively, once you start a command, you can't go in and start another command. You've got to select which ones you want to do and then wait until it's completed. So for example, let's take a quick look and see what we have across here. We've got enable crash dumps. That's the one I spoke about a little earlier on. Now, if you do hover over the description, it will give you more information. So this is used to enable crash dumps over a 24-hour period. We've got some log collections. So collect the required logs and uploads them to the MTR Pro portal. So that's obviously, we were able to do that already, but it's nice that Microsoft has kind of put that all in one place. And then we've also got network capture as well. So these are pretty good. So a start capture, stopped and collect capture. So it starts the network capture if you want to check to see what's going on across there. One of my personal little favorites is this one across here, which is the network connectivity test. You may have seen in previous episodes of Mo Mondays, and also, the likes of Jimmy and Michelle and Rob Carlson, when we talk about kind of setting up your infrastructure, making sure it's ready. We always kind of talk about the 365 network connectivity test. It's a really nice way to work out, are you connecting and how quickly are you connecting directly into the Microsoft network? Now you can actually run that from the machine itself as well. And another new one which has been added, is restarting the machine. Now, this isn't just restarting the machine and, like you would with a normal command. This one actually restarts the device, but also clears the cache as well. Why is this important? Sometimes if you run it, I mean, it's rare, it's never really happened to me, but let's imagine, you run into an issue where you've got persistent settings that are not changing, or something's happening, or there's an account that's stuck on the machine. Clearing the cache effectively, defaults it or resets it without having to master reset the whole machine. So usually, when you're troubleshooting, we'd always say check connections, check network connectivity, restart your machine. Restart your machine usually will then go ahead and clear the memory, clear most of the cache, but sometimes things get stuck. And this way around, when you hit the restart device button, it will actually forcefully clear that cache for you. So you've got a clean canvas effectively to start off with. It doesn't wipe, your usernames and passwords and things like that. It effectively just clears the cache for you, all that temporary junk that might be sitting in there. It'll clear it. So then, you can start effectively from scratch to make sure it's all working. There's no kind of memory leakage or anything along those lines. To start things off, it's really, really easy. So for example, let's say I wanted to do a log collection. I'd simply tick that box across there. You can only tick one box across there, so it's one action per time. You then simply go to the top. You'll notice the run button now is highlighted. So if I unselect that, it's grayed out. Log collection, hit the run button. Now, depending on what you select, there will be different options that are given after. So for example, with this log collection one, it'll say, okay, what logs do you want to collect? So I can go ahead and say, hey, I want to collect Teams Runes logs. I want to collect the Pro Management Agent logs, Windows Update, and then of course, any OEMs and stuff that you might have connected over onto your devices. So it shows the, the different OEMs that I have. Once you've done that, you would simply go ahead and make sure you enter a reason for running. You must do that. So in my case, I'm just simply going to put test. As soon as you've done the reason for running, you go ahead, you hit the run button, and you'll notice now we got the icon to say it is in progress. Now, where do these logs all get kept? Really easy. Right next to it, you've got the activity tab. So you go ahead, you hit the activity tab, and what it will do is it will say what it's trying to do. So for example, earlier on, I was trying some network connectivity tests, had a few issues, some errors with that. Lock connection was done earlier, which is what it's showing across the top here, and it gives me the option to download. And the one that we've just initiated is currently running right now as well. Usually, depending on how many logs you've decided to select, it'll take a few minutes. If you selected everything, it's going to take a little while longer. But effectively, once the logs are collected, or the logs are collected for like the network connectivity test, etc., you'd simply go ahead to activity. It will then show up. So this one, for example, which is one that I done earlier, if you hit the icon across there, it will say when it was submitted, when it was completed, it was done within the minute, who submitted it, what was the reason, the input selections, and then the output message. And then it will also give you the log attachment as well. So you can download that log and then send it across to Microsoft or your IT administrator, whoever it may be. So nice and easy to go ahead and do these new actions. So there's a whole bunch of them across here. So if you are now trying to try and work out what's gone on, if you had any issues with your Teams Rooms device, now you've got some great options across here as well. So Microsoft, thank you so much for bringing this one to the Pro Management Portal. It is another tool for users to be able to use to try and identify any potential issues. Remember, with the Pro Management Portal, most of the things that it will do, any issues that are logged, it will automatically tag them and automatically try and remediate them as well. But this is a great option for you to really go in there manually to pull off any dumps. Sometimes, if you have hardware issues, as an example, and you need to raise logs with OEM providers, this is another good way to be able to, select everything, make sure that you've got all the logs for all the relevant pieces, and then send them to the OEM or the partner or whoever it may be. You can see this one's just finished. So if I go back to activity now, it's now showing completed. I can tap that. There were 2 logs that I decided to do. You simply hit that button, and then it'll give you the option to download that one as well for you. It's a nice, easy one. You can't see my download option, so we'll leave that one for now. Cool. All right. So nice new updates to kind of come into the end of November and moving into December. I look forward to seeing what else Microsoft have up their sleeve for the Pro Portal. I know they've got a whole bunch. I'm excited to see when they do land. But this episode is probably the last one for this year. I know. You might be a little sad. I'll be on holiday from next week onwards till the end of the year, and pretty much the whole business and the whole of the UK shuts down for the holiday period. So, with that in mind, I just want to say be sure to like, subscribe, and of course, enjoy the holiday period with your loved ones. And no doubt, I shall see you guys in the new year. Take care. Ciao.